favorites video. Now this video is not going to be exclusively about books. I only mentioned one book. So if you're only here for book content, sorry to change it up on you. But I think that this is going to be a really fun video to film, so I'm going to go for it anyway. So I'll get my favorite book of the month right out of the way, right at the get-go. My favorite book of the month was Hunger, A Memoir of My Body by Roxane Gay. This book has impacted me in a very, very big way. I think I've mentioned it in all of my videos since I've read it. She touches on her own personal experience with her body, her history of trauma, and then also the way that we treat bodies in our society, the way that pop culture represents different bodies, and the way that fat phobia impacts her and other fat people. This is an excellent, excellent read that I really can't put into words how much it impacted me. Next, my favorite music is not going to come as a surprise to anyone who knows me. It's Lorde's new album, Melodrama. This is such a perfect breakup album, and all of the songs are bops, bangers, or jams. Every single song is amazing. In fact, I've just been playing it around my apartment, and now my boyfriend has started to request that I play Supercut all the time because he gets it stuck in his head. Next, I'm going to talk about my favorite item of clothing, and I work a 9-to-5 job, and I don't really like my work clothes. I like them fine. I now have some that actually make me feel like myself when I wear them, but are appropriate enough to wear to work. But my favorite non-work item is this that I scrounged up from a couple of years ago. I had it, I loved it, I lost it, I found it again, and now I've been wearing it all the time. It's these pants that I got at Target many a moon ago. They're just flowery and lovely. They're mostly black. The print is not overwhelming, and they've got just clusters of flowers all over them with an elastic waist, which makes them feel like they're pajamas, and they have pockets. So they're very practical, they're summery without being so colorful that it's out of my comfort zone, and they're soft enough and flexible enough that they literally feel like pajamas. I love these. Next, I'm going to talk about my favorite makeup, and I have 4 items that I'm going to talk about. They're all palettes. 2 of them are e.l.f. palettes. There's this one, which is a blush quad. It's the blush palette in light, and then there is this illuminating palette, which I don't think there are shades of. Both of these are just quads, this one of highlighter and this one of blush. But with the blush, I really like the variety. I do not like the hot pink shimmer shade because I don't really see myself ever wearing a shimmery blush, but I've been really into wearing a dusting of blush lately, and this is what I reach for most. I like this brown one for a more subtle look, and I know I'm gonna like this one even more when I'm more tan. I like this pink one, and for just a dusting of what looks like a very natural blush, like what it would look like ideally if I were to naturally blush. And this one is a little bit bolder for me. I put this one on when I'm going for a slightly bolder look. With the illuminating palette, I use mostly these 2. I think that this one's too dark for me and this one's too light for me, but I really love both of these highlights. I find that I have such dry skin. I have weird skin conditions. These have both worked really well for me. They highlight without amplifying the texture of my dry skin. Next are 2 eyeshadow palettes. One of them is a splurge from a few months ago that is so dirty. I'm sorry. But I get so much use out of these, and they're all kind of dusty products, so they just end up looking, dirty all the time. This one is the Tartist Pro palette. I wanted a palette that was mostly mattes. I had very few eyeshadows. I went through and purged all of my eyeshadows, all of my old ones, and ended up with practically no eyeshadows. I took it as an opportunity to save up a little bit and invest in this Pro palette, and I get use out of it every day that I do my makeup. There has not been a day since I got this that I did my makeup and I didn't use at least 2 of these shades. So I love this. I love the selection of colors. I do wish that there were a couple more browns and a couple fewer purples because I find myself not really going for the purples, but I also love the shimmer shades. Lastly is another one that I just got last week and is already dirty because it's a white a white thing. I got Color Palette Pressed Powder Pigments, and I just selected a bunch of them, and then when they sent this free palette, I ripped out the part that has like the 4 slots, leaving only the magnet underneath. I ordered 6 mattes and 3 shimmers, and I am loving all of these colors. I think that the pigment is really good on all of them. Next, I'm going to talk about skincare products that I've been loving. First, there are 3 products from The Ordinary. The Hyaluronic Acid 2% plus B5. This is a serum that you just put on your face after you wash it, and I spray a face mist after, and this has saved my skin. I can't even tell you, this in combination with the other things that I'll show you is making my skin on my face feel like normal skin for the first time that I remember. Like, I can touch it and feel like there's no flakes coming off. It's pretty amazing considering my skin issues. I'm also loving this high adherence silicone primer, and they also have a liquid silicone primer that I like, but mostly I reach for this one. It's just a cream primer that when you put it on your face, it's very smoothing, but it's still moisturizing, and I'm not someone who needs mattifying primers, so if you're someone who does need that, then this might not be for you. I don't know how your skin will react, but this is amazing for me, and I find that it does help my makeup last a little longer. I was mostly looking for like the pore reduction part of primers, but I like that it helps my makeup last as well. This is like a holy grail product for me, and so what happened was I was a subscriber to Birchbox. I got this thing in a subscription that was a peel, and it worked amazingly on my skin. The problem that my skin has is that it doesn't shed dead skin on its own, and so it worked amazingly on my skin to just get the whole layer of dead skin off. And I looked it up online, and it was like $1 million for one bottle of it, and I was obviously not going to do that. So I did some more research, and as with most beauty products, the American company with a huge markup was copying the actual innovators from the Asian beauty companies. And so I went on Amazon and got this for under $10. It's the Dr. G Brightening Peeling Gel. I would not recommend using this if you have very sensitive skin, but if you're like me and what you need is like a super exfoliator, if you just need like literally all the dead skin on your face to be peeled off, this is excellent. You put it on your skin and you kind of rotate it around, you do little circles, and your dead skin will react with this and peel, and then you can just swipe it away. It works absolute wonders. This is an amazing, amazing product. And there are a couple of different brands that I've tried, and honestly I've liked all of them. So this is an amazing concept that has been an absolute savior to my skin. If you're grossed out by dead skin or by like seeing your dead skin come off, then don't get this, because that's exactly what it does. My last skincare thing is kind of, I guess, a silly one. It's these cotton rounds that are exfoliating. They're super cheap, and these are the best cotton rounds that I have found, and here is why. On one side you get the kind of like smooth texture that you come to expect from cotton rounds, but at the other side there's raised bumps all throughout it, which makes them, as they say, exfoliating. I have never found a cotton round that gets my makeup off better than this. This is really my go-to. When I ran out of this, I was kind of distressed and like immediately went out and got another package of them. They're so good at getting even your hard to get makeup off because the texture just picks up so much more. So I highly, highly recommend these. The TV show that I've been watching the most, my favorite TV shows of the month have been Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which a bunch of my friends recommended to me, and Arrested Development, which my boyfriend put me on to. Both of those shows just make me so happy, and they're so funny, and I laugh harder than I've ever laughed when I watch. So I'm having a lot of fun watching those TV shows and patiently awaiting the return of all of the fall shows that I love so much. My favorite movies lately have all been space movies. I've been loving watching space movies with my boyfriend. We watched all of Star Trek Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and then Voyager, and I'm kind of weary about continuing with the Star Trek because the original series is so short and people tend to not really like enterprise, and so we need our space fill from somewhere else, because obviously you always gotta have some space in your life. And so we've been watching all the space movies that we can get our hands on, and we're just gonna keep going with the space movie marathon. Next, I want to talk about my self-care favorites. One of them I've talked about here before. I really love writing book reviews. That has been really calming to me, and it's really good for me because I'm not someone who like automatically has opinions about things. My brain kind of automatically does not produce opinions about things, and so then I end up kind of just being indecisive about everything, kind of passive, and I don't want to be that way. I want to have opinions about stuff. And so the book reviews, part of what they do is help me practice developing opinions and being able to support them. It's kind of nice to force myself to do that analysis now that I'm not in school anymore. It's about stuff that I actually want to be analyzing, and it's for my personal development rather than for grades. So I'm really enjoying that. And then there is my number one self-care thing, and that is journaling. I have this huge Mondo red journal. I'm a little bit less than halfway through it, and I started writing in it in February. I tend to write a lot more when I'm going through a hard time, when I'm more depressed or more anxious, and so lately I haven't been writing, but that's a good thing as long as I remember to go back to my journal when I need it, like right when I start to feel emotionally flooded. So this has been a really positive new habit for me. It's like wake up and journal in the morning, or I get home from work and I'm flooded and anxious, and then I go to this and I write. It's been good for me to basically just do stream of consciousness writing about whatever I'm thinking about that day. So those are all my June favorites. Sorry again if you're really only here for book content, but I am, you know, a dynamic individual with multiple interests. So thanks for watching.